I was a priest, a missionary in Nairobi, Kenya. And the Cardinal Archbishop asked me to come to the States to raise some money for him. Well, I went around from parish to parish, coast to coast, raising money. That was my main job. And eventually, Father Nesty was becoming president, and he asked me to come in and work at Duquesne, which I told him I had a job, and he said, you can do that at weekends. So I had two jobs for quite some years. Well, first of all, the money went to Nairobi. I raised money, 2 scholarships from my own name and my parents' name that went out to students who needed it. Eventually I became the director of that, and that was when I resigned from the vice president for student life. Well, Father McAnulty had been president, and years later we were having luncheon in the Seaford Suite, and we came out onto Academic Walk, and he stopped and he looked around and he said, this is what I hoped Duquesne would always look like. We had put the bricks on the Academic Walk. It really upgraded the campus. Well, with 2 new schools, 3 new schools. Rangos came in the late 80s. Now we have a School of Medicine and a School of Engineering, which is geared toward medical, not mechanical engineering. It's geared toward medical facilities and that's going very well. I found out at a basketball game one night, somebody had decided to do a bobblehead of me and hand it out at the basketball game. I was, frustrated a little, but if it's good for the university, it was good for me, So that was important. I don't remember. It was in the 80s anyway, whatever it was, and John Murray and I had worked on it. And Sharon Goddard came to me one day and said, come down and we want to walk the towers and talk about upgrading. She was waiting for me at the towers and she'd come up to the dining room. For what? Just come up. The pile of kids there and faculty and staff and that, and he was naming the dining hall after me. I was mad. The problem was that there was very little going on at Duquesne for students. So I got a crowd of kids together and they discussed it and they said, let's have Night of Nights. But somebody objected to that. The city called us and said that was unacceptable. They had already patented that name and we better get another name. But we got another name and it has worked very well. It's grown and, the president came to that first event and they've increased it, the kids have increased it now with horses, carriage and whatever, and we've developed it. We haven't developed it enough with lights, but I think we should develop the lights more, but what do we call it now? Night of Lights, is it? Night of Lights, yeah. But, it's a nice event preparing for the holiday season. For the Christmas season, everybody's away. But that's why we had the Night of Lights again, prepare for Christmas and that. But Christmas is a season of hope. And something I think is very important that we celebrate it as a season of hope. And I think a lot of people do, and families get together and, for Thanksgiving and Christmas and that. And it's a special season for us, for Christmas of hope. And but the kids, I think, get into the concept of this Christmas event by having events like the Night of Lights and Christmas Mass and whatever, okay? Well, what I said initially, Christmas is a time of hope. And I hope they get the spirit of hope in their lives, spirit of Christmas, which is the giving of the Son of God. That's very important in the development of the characters of the kids, that they develop a hope.